Are you buying and selling cryptos on the same laptop that you're using to browse the internet, read your email, and visit social media sites? If so, you're exposing your cryptos to theft. Whenever you're online, you're at risk of getting hacked and having your identity stolen. How would you feel if someone stole all of your cryptos? What would that do to your finances? Guard your cryptos with a safe and secure laptop from CALIX Solutions. Each laptop is set up just for you and your cryptos, and then we walk you through exactly how it works. Don't risk the security of your cryptos. Order a crypto laptop from CALIX Solutions now to secure your crypto future. Learn more at calixsolutions.io.
Sons and daughters thought we knew more than our fathers. Oh, we didn't read our Bibles or the history of our rivals. Wise in our own eyes, we became slaves. One drink at a time, imprisoned our own minds. We put our faith in doctors' medications. Well, whose grave is he digging? Man, he's gonna make a killing. We should have prayed to the great physician. Sweet Lord, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Yes, Satan is a serpent, but we became his servants. Mocked us with his laughter, we let him in our pastures. Now the stars and stripes are getting crucified. Oh, be born again, American. I'm holding holy words in this old King James version. We hunger and thirst. Lift up this curse, the way, truth, and life. Oh, Savior Jesus Christ, take our hands to the promised land. Let us see what it really means to be free and proud to be
Well, thank you and hello. Welcome to Women's Voices. I am Clara Bose and I am your hostess today. My guest today is Jewel Faith. I'm so excited to introduce her to you all. Here at Women's Voices, we like to feature people, women, who I feel and that I have been led to bring on that maybe their voices have been suppressed in our culture today, their perspectives, their lives aren't what the mainstream media has necessarily felt like they wanted to show you and present to you and celebrate in our culture today. But we're going to change all of that because we, the people, are collectively coming together and taking the media in our own hands and taking the responsibility for our government for ourselves. And one of the ways that we see the landscape quickly changing is through AI. And we know that that is going to be a very quick shift in our culture because it could produce a billion songs in a matter of 1 minute. But one thing that AI can't do is be connected with God. That's why its very name has to proclaim that it is artificial intelligence. But we as humans are blessed to be made in the image of God, and we are divinely connected to true intelligence. And so one of the things that we celebrate, Jewel, Faith, and I, is our spirituality, and we take it very seriously, and our musicality. And when we write a song, we don't consider that we, in our mind, our logical mind, didn't write the song. Both she and I, we consider that we received this from Spirit. And so we're going to talk about that. She's a musician. She is a prayer warrior. She's a wife. She's a mother of many dogs. And she came all the way from England, and she now lives in Mount Shasta, California. And she's one of the most patriotic people you could ever meet. She has been doing a call for America to pray for America and our current horrible situations in our politics and all over worldwide global politics. She's been praying every day for at least, I know from experience, at least the last couple years. And her dedication to her faith that these prayers are working is unfounded. I've never seen anybody as dedicated to her prayer time, and she knows it's real. She knows it works. And I'm sure that your group of people was celebrating a lot when that bullet showed the entire world that it missed Donald Trump and that their plan to end his life missed. And I know that your team of people is part of that miracle that happened. I definitely thank you for your prayers. I know that they've worked. We have all seen that they've worked. And I welcome you to my show, Jewel Faith.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for having me.
So happy. So you are a musician, a prayer warrior. Tell us a little bit about the work that you do.
Well, I started humbly in the north of England and born to just simple working people and farmers and electrician, plumber, dad, mom ran the show. And I ended up in the film business in London, which lasted over 20 years, and I got to go to a lot of really interesting places, and not just for fun, documentaries and stuff like that. And then when my dad died suddenly from drinking and smoking, I left the country in 98, but I had done a couple of seminars with Tony Robbins, and I knew something was missing, and the spiritual. So he got me kind of out of where I was in, and I ended up in 12-step recovery and a meditation practice, and finally in Los Angeles did a lot of transformational work, and then ended up meeting Michael, my husband, in Mount Shasta. He was on his way out, and I was on my here, just arriving in the middle of a snowstorm. And we met. Wow. And just started switching over to different kind of work, prayers that are as we say in the beginning, it was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And so what was missing in my life, I'd done a lot of mantras, and I just hadn't learned how to pray. I didn't grow up as a Presbyterian being told, like, it's like, God help me. My parents didn't, no one taught me that. They were all singers and choir singers, but I'd never, I wonder how many other people feel that way. Like, I don't really know what to do. And I think Jesus said that to, well, he did in The Chosen. I hope he said this. Don't worry. I think he did. Don't worry about these repetitive prayers that all the Pharisees and the Sadducees know, that have these priests, that have it all down.
That is in the Bible. I don't know the exact reference, but that is in the Bible. Yes.
But better that you go into your own privacy of your own room and make
It even says closet. It even says go into your closet,
closet,
which I do literally.
just make an authentic prayer. So I don't know how many more people out there, they might have done Our Fathers and Hail Marys and, you know, mantras and songs. And, but yeah, with all of that behind me, I didn't, apart from help, I didn't really know how do I even pray for anything. And when I met Michael, he introduced me to the spoken word prayers, which you've mentioned have been powerful. You know, grooving in with Archangel Michael, who's in the Bible, and, you know, just so many beings, and just praying in the name of this and greater works ye shall do, as you and I talked about the other day. What does that mean? You know, just in his holy name, in the name of I am, you know, what we do is we make calls as opposed to just a prayer. For me is, we're splitting hairs, but a prayer for me is I pray for this person. But when we command the light in a certain direction in the name of, then we're commanding into Israel, we're commanding into Palestine, we're commanding into Ukraine and Russia, we're commanding into America, we're commanding into the rotten things that are happening. We're commanding light into these places, as opposed to, oh, please help, you know. And there's a place for both, but that's pretty much what we do. In the name I am that I am, we command the light into this presidency, into all of America, and to protect the Constitution. And you know, it's commanding the light. And to me, that's what he meant when he said this in greater works. We are commanding the light in that direction, calling in the light.
I love that. I love that. And that was a shift that I made later in my life too. As I read the Bible and as I meditated and I prayed, and I realized that when we have that spirit of Jesus Christ inside of us, the Holy Spirit is ours to command. The authority has been given to us, and we can speak from that same authority. And Jesus showed us the perfect example of how to do it. And everybody watched in wonder as he had authority over the winds and the waves. And he gave that power, and he said, behold, I give unto you power to tread on serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt you. Now, if you really believe that you have the power and that nothing can by any means hurt you, well, you take it seriously, you command it, and that's exactly what you guys do on a daily basis. And I just want to thank you and celebrate you. And you might not be getting a Grammy, you might not be getting an Oscar. I wish I had an award for you, but I will tell you, I know that you've made a difference in your team prayers. There is no doubt in my mind that your fierce determination to see change in this world, because you are passionate. And when you're passionate, my husband says compassion without action is a big fat nothing. And you guys take the action.
That's
so I just want to thank you.
That's like faith without works is dead. And I became a 12-stepper 24 years ago. I didn't know that came out of Jesus' mouth.
Exactly. Yep. People use the truth in many different aspects of our life, but truth is truth all across the board. And it's powerful over addiction. I had many addiction problems that I completely healed inside of myself. They were through, well, for instance, I quit smoking through in 3 days. I did a guided meditation that was for quitting smoking. And I saw in my mind's eye, as I went through this meditation, I could see an image of myself that I was like crawling through tar. It was like this tar, and I was crawling, but my dreams were over there. And the tar, the smoking, was keeping me from getting to my dream. And once I really saw that and then I saw another vision the next night where I was shoving like a garbage disposal. I was shoving down my trachea. I was just like shoving, and I was like a human garbage disposal. And this, by the third night of doing it, I had seen enough, and it was enough to get my subconscious reprogrammed. And I got on my knees and I promised myself that I will never put another cigarette in my mouth, because for me, I had seen these two visions that I knew for myself as a singer. I sing opera and all different styles of music. And for me, I'm not saying that no one should smoke. You should smoke if you want to smoke. You're free to do so. But for me, I knew that was holding me back. And so that was a powerful way that meditation and a guided meditation changed my life. So there's so many ways that we can use this power inside of us to retrain our minds and grow. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I wouldn't have got to where I am now. They call this the luxury problems. Of course, we were born for these times. First things first, it was a 12-step edict. And I had to heal the family lineage, that took my dad when he was only 63. And, they said, you got to put this first, the sobriety, and then everything else can come over here. And so a lot of people are on the spiritual path, and then they don't understand the power of addiction is like doing all these amazing spiritual things, like going to these amazing spiritual events that we go to. And then if we go right back into addiction and the darkness and the shadow and, the beast of separation, or, the dark forces, whatever you want to call it, the backlash, the shadow, it always wants to draw us back in, because it's the easy, softer way. And they talk about in 12-step, or the Bible talks about the left-handed path. So it's so easy to just get back into things. So what you had was, a wake up. And, there are levels of addiction, but for me, that had to, if I was heading down that path that my family, or some of them still getting away with, social drinking. For me, as you mentioned at the beginning, I am all in. I just got a birthday card. I had my birthday last week, and someone said, what I love about you is you put it all out there. And that used to be something I would be ashamed of. And actually my family would put me down for that. But the truth is I am. And so I'm all in when I'm doing healing. I'm all in when I'm fighting for the country. And I was all in as a drinker.
Right.
So I couldn't walk the middle way with that. So I had to take care of that. And I'm very grateful for the foundation of 12-step. It came from a guy who visited Bill in hospital from the Oxford group, which is Christian. And he went, my drinking buddy's leaving. But He had his own awakening in the hospital, one more drink, and he was going to be done, his liver or whatever. His wife is like, bye. And he woke up. Jesus, Christ or the Holy Spirit woke him up. And then he realized, that was at the foundation. So it's your own higher power. You don't have to be a religion, which is good, because a lot of people are religiously traumatized and they need to get sober. And so we work with a lot of people in 12-step that still don't have the same beliefs. And however, it was based on that foundation.
I love that. That's amazing. Yeah, I found God again in my adult life. I had set all of the religion aside for a long time. I just went on my own path, and I was trying to help myself with, I can be kind of a flaky artist. I used to be, because I actually healed from this, but ADD was like, kind of my calling card. It was like, I would leave my purse here. I was always locking my keys out of my car all the time. And I went to Wikipedia and learned how to meditate on Wikipedia. And I just spent 5 minutes a day, and it took about 3 days for me to go, oh my gosh, this is what everybody's talking about when they're talking about God. So, you can find God on Wikipedia. You can find God anywhere. God's always knocking on your door to connect with you. And we are going to have to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, I want to hear a little bit more from you about especially the spiritual side of your music. So I know you'll be ready for that, and we'll be right back. Thank you, Jewel.
Ever felt left out of the crypto craze? Not anymore. Welcome to Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club, where community meets opportunity. Our clubs are popping up nationwide, from Sarasota to Nashville, Boston to St. Louis. Join us and unlock a world of benefits. Access all clubs worldwide, earn through referrals, and dive into specialized crypto education. Need help buying crypto? We've got you covered, often with reduced fees. But wait, there's more. Enjoy perks like Bitcoin ATMs, silver purchases, and exclusive investment opportunities. Our state-of-the-art facilities offer podcast rooms, event spaces, and co-working areas. Stay informed with FGTV, our exclusive crypto news and education channel. Choose your membership, from day passes to individual or company plans. Individual members get access for themselves plus 2 guests, perfect for bringing friends or family. Companies can bring up to 15 employees or guests, fostering team growth and networking. Connect, learn, and grow with like-minded crypto enthusiasts. Ready to join the revolution? Visit bitcoinbencryptoclub.com or call 562-526-0813 today. Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club, your gateway to crypto success.
Welcome back, ladies, to Women's Voices. We have our beloved Jewel Faith here with us today. Tell us a little bit about how you started receiving songs, which means writing original songs, but how you started receiving original songs through Spirit.
My dad was, he drank and smoked, but he was also a musician, and grew up in a family that was choir singers, and I think there were 13 siblings of his mom, and they all sang Messiah and, Your Beautiful Voice, like soprano. And so it turned out I was the only child in the marriage of my mom and dad that came out with the voice. And so apparently when I was 3, people would say, give us, a nursery rhyme, and I would give them the latest on Broadway. Apparently.
Cute.
And I was, I sang at school, and then I sang in his band, which put me through a lot of nerves. But Puppy Love and Feelings and other more. I would do my thing, and
all the popular songs.
I know, I would do those with my dad, and I was in the choir. And then, honestly, what we were just talking about, I went into the film business, and I had extreme nerves, as you know, as a performer, and I definitely was shut down. In my family, I wasn't really celebrated, except by him, but he had this double-edged sword of being kind of in the alcohol, and I couldn't really trust my gift. And so I went behind the scenes, and I was production manager and producer in the film business. And I used to go to musicals and feel like almost cry, that I should be singing. And it wasn't until I got to America. I came here in 98, and I started going to a meditation practice that chants and chanting mantras on the Eastern Path. And that kind of woke my voice up. And there were people there that said, you have a beautiful voice. But again, I didn't know that. And then I went down on this crazy trip to Peru in 2010 because I was really struggling with depression and just how to recover this trauma, in this life, which is another thing I'm dedicated to. And I worked with these healers down there and medicines that just heal your body. And I started singing in those ceremonies, and that's when I first started receiving in the Amazon. I would receive these.
Amazing. Was this like a proper shamanic healers?
Yeah, and they were called Icaros. And I would receive little, I'd be down by the river on my own. I was the only woman sometimes, and I would receive those. And when I met Michael, so I was singing in a ceremonial setting, and when I met Michael, we started doing these prayers together, and I would bring in the song, and it was during what we call Violet Flame Saturday in 2012. I was down in Reading above Starbucks, and I just received this.
Wow.
It said, can I share this? I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. It just came. And they were like, whoa. And yeah, they just, now it's more because of a church we go to, that's a Church of Christ that's based in Brazil. We have a local one here in Ashland, and it's really powerful healing church. And we sing in the Portuguese, and I loved Sanskrit. I love that we're not thinking about what we're singing. I loved Spanish, but now we speak in Portuguese. And I'm not fluent in it, but I do receive hymns because of that portal open for me.
In Portuguese?
Yeah. But I also have quite a few songs from 2012, one called Jewel of Creation, which, how did it come in? We were recording, we were in a ceremony I was leading, and this melody came in, not dissimilar to Nat King Cole that I grew up and sing with my dad. And apparently a friend of mine said I sang it live in the ceremony, but it kept coming. So I met this pianist who was going to play, and I said, you don't know me, but this song needs to be written. So he's a pianist, and we got the melodies based on the melody I could hear, and we got the sections. And then I was literally had 50 minutes left on him. And I said, please give me the words to this. And I started writing them. And that's how songs have come in. And it's one of the most beautiful songs. I'd love to get it out there.
Yes. Can you just sing like a little piece of it?
Yeah. This was the first line I got, and then the rest came. And the whole album's called Jewel of Creation, and they were showing off because the angels, the last line is the jewel of all creation at the center. I was like, you just wrote the title track. It's like, if you can see what we could see, you never doubt one moment who you really are. You are the ones that know the truth deep inside your being, in the center of your heart. Goes on.
Beautiful, Jewel. Beautiful. It has a really haunting minor melody. I love that.
And the last verse that came on the plane on the way home, because sometimes songs come in sections, is for the times that we're in, that we're like, what's going on? It's getting crazy. Saturn and astrology, and there's a solar eclipse. What's going on?
Yeah.
And the last one is, we've always known this day would come, divinely timed reunion orchestrated by the ones, the master steps leading us home, the jewel of all creation at the center of our soul. So we were
Jewel
made.
of all creation at the center of our soul. Is that the word?
Yeah.
Wow. That's gorgeous.
Yeah, and then there's other crazy songs like "In My Hand Is the Sword of Archangel Michael."
That's awesome. I know. So when I've been on a couple of the calls with Jewel and Michael, and it's really fun. A lot of them, my kids, would like dance around the house like, I am Michael, 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 because the entire universe is within us, and so we are what we choose to be. God has given us free will. We have more freedom than we realize that we have. There's so much suppression that has happened in our societies, and people in religions have wanted to, keep the power over the people. But, you can't be stopped. Once you find the realms available within you, it's infinite. And I know a lot of people that scares them, but when you're in Christ, you don't have to be afraid. Now, if you are choosing to connect with spirits which are not of Christ, then of course that's not a good idea. But in this world, they're everywhere. We just don't see them. And people that we meet all the time, and at the pub, at the bar, people are opening up portals inside themselves for spirits, unwanted spirits, to come in all the time. And so that in and of itself is just one way that people don't even realize that they're opening up portals just through different substances and just by hanging around in certain areas. So keeping ourselves purified, keeping ourselves clean is something that we need to do in this realm, not just in our prayer realm.
It's something we talk about up here, and we're just here, but our team is all over America, and some of them are listening right now. Thanks, guys. We're kind of like the apostles of Jesus Christ. They were a motley crew, It's the tax collector and a zealot and this guy and that guy, and they're like, "Where's your army, Jesus?" And he's like, "Oh, you expecting like soldiers?" These were the chosen ones who many are chosen but few choose. And one of the things that I'm not grateful every day. It feels tortuous, but the reason I know I'm being used is that I did have to go, and still do have to work on my healing. And it would be easy to be Christian guilted and just get over it. Well, the other piece that I'm really interested in and helping people with is trauma and parts of us that are still stuck in that belief. So you can make a prayer and say, we ask for this to be cut free. But we can also do the work. And I believe the compassion of Christ is that he walked the earth, and he knows how rough it was not to be even understood by his own apostles. So the reason that AA and Al-Anon and all of that works is that a person with that problem is the only one that can help another. You can't go, do that. It's got to be, look, I understand. I'm retrieving myself. And so even in my church the other day, there was a woman I said, I'm sure you're a beautiful singer. And I couldn't hear her. She said, I doubt it. And I said, I know, because there's the Antichrist energies. Even with your beautiful voice, I don't know if you ever get those voices that say, or try to shut it down, not to tell you that it's not good, but
Of course.
and so to understand,
of course, all through my life, that has been, you're not good enough, and that's within yourself that you have to battle that off all through my life.
Yeah, there are wounded parts that have come to believe that it's not. What I want to say is it's not safe to get out there and be a leader. It's not safe to get up there, do this podcast, or get up on a stage for somebody passed away in our church, and I got up there with my ukulele and I sang One Day at a Time, Sweet Jesus, and I had a crushing headache afterwards, but it went down well.
Just doing it.
For God.
And so it's pretty amazing, because one thing that I will say is that when you recognize that is not truth that you're hearing from, and you can at least identify, it's kind of like knowing that alcohol is not a substance which is helping you in any way. Once you recognize it, then you can say, you know what? I'm going to be a conqueror of this. I am more than a conqueror. And when you go out and do it, you prove to yourself that wasn't true. You prove to yourself, and you keep doing it over and over, and you get that practice. It's like a muscle. It might not be perfect the first time, but see yourself in your mind's eye. Athletes do this all the time. See it going well. See people coming up to you afterwards, thanking you. See, I really had to overcome stage fright in my early 20s. I was going on a radio tour, and I was terrified that I was going to, because your voice needs to be confident when you're singing. Otherwise, everybody's going to be able to hear that it's shaky and you're nervous. Right. So I had a teacher show me how to visualize and to see it going well. And I had the most amazing radio tour. 2 weeks I was singing live day after day after day. And it went exactly like I saw it going in my mind's eye first. So recognizing that is not true, and then really just going out there and getting the practice and proving it to yourself.
Well, you know what I love about,
we are.
Okay, getting a little bit more edgy. What I love about the last 4 years,
right? Yeah.
Particularly, is that there are media like this now that's of the people, for the people, by the people. It's not going through, I could give it another name, but Hollywood. I work for them. I didn't see anything weird, but definitely it's interesting. The people who've got all the entertainment and the media sewn up. And so I believe we got lazy as a bunch of humans. We just we got fed and we got entertained. And it wasn't like Jesus' time where you literally had to, spend your day putting your food together. We can just go get it at the store, and so we got lazy and we allowed this whole thing to be packaged for us. And now we were like, hang on a minute. The last 4 years and the pandemic and all of that, it actually had, it had a good side because God's in everything. You could say that some dark forces planned that whole thing, but God was in that too, because now we're on StreamYard and Zoom, and And we're bringing our voices out. This is called Women's Voices. And we have to keep fighting for that. Even Saturday night, I was in a spiritual work from just after my birthday, and I made a mistake. And I had so much shame come up for me. It was brutal. And I had to fight my way back. I had to, you see, your singing teacher, mine says I'm amazing, but it has to come from within me. It doesn't matter who tells you, oh, Julie. The shame was inside. I think John Bradshaw's book, Healing the Shame That Binds. The shame had me, and I had to take out my sword, and I had to come back. I had to have a process. I had to come back and then sing a hymn that says, here in this moment is a soldier of God. And that literally, as I was singing that hymn, I have these little, maracas for keeping time. And I literally came off the floor and lifted up. And that's what I'm doing.
Can you sing? We're gonna. Can you just sing a little bit of that one so that we can hear what the melody to hear is the soldier of God, because you are.
Oh, it's here.
Oh, it's okay. I'm sorry. I don't mean to put you on the spot.
No, it's okay. It's actually it's one of my favorites, and it's called One More. It's in Portuguese.
Oh my goodness.
It says one more in my Zoom, and it was written to a man who never received a hymn, but he was a natural healer, and he was this sweet little guy, and they changed his name because of a place he came from. His name's not even Cohenchi, his name's Da Silva, but they took he didn't have papers. So these people are amazing. And, it's like, here is this soldier. Here is this soldier of God in this salau, which means, this room, here. Yeah. Tem aqui extensões da rainha do salão. And I really had to claim that. So, I think a lot of people's voices, especially women, this is a time of the mother. A lot of Christianity is based on the father. I do believe in the Divine Mother. She's behind me there, Mother Mary. And this is the time of women not to fight men and patriarchy. That's the toxic version. This is the time for us to come Alpha and Omega. This is time for us to come back and balance with Alpha, which is the Father in heaven that holds the immaculate conception for us, the big space for us, and the mother who's in all the details, and she's I like one hymn from the same guy is like my master in front of me and my mother at my side, because she cleans up the boo-boos. You're a mom, it's like mom.
It's the nurturer. It's the nurturer, the one that tender and holds you and loves you and rocks you to sleep. And
Dad, Father God is out there in front going, keep coming this way. But mom is like, I know it's hard. I know you want to die and you want to get.
That's right. Well, we're all made in the image of God. That isn't just men made in the image of God. So of course, God is feminine qualities, because we're all made. We are all God's children, and so we need to absolutely remember that the divine feminine and the power of that, because being compassionate and being gentle and nurturing is actually powerful, because it's healing. So I thank you for your healing work. We have to wrap up our show today. We're out of time, but thank you so much for sharing your incredible life story, your perspective, and I look forward to having you back.
And just remember this, your mom, Jesus said forgiveness, forgive your enemies. This is not a male-female battle, but who's really good at mopping up the mess, and so forgiveness is a master key. And if we can forgive ourselves, that is a feminine aspect to us. If we can forgive ourselves, then we can do what he's asking, is to forgive even the enemies of God out there.
Exactly. I love that. And that does seem to be, it seems that it comes a little bit more naturally to women than when usually guys want to fight. Like, forgiveness isn't necessary. And that's their role, but that's our role. And we can play that part so beautifully and bring in the forgiveness frequencies, bring in the forgiveness waveforms, and move higher from there. So we have to make peace. So thank you so much, Jewel Faith, for your beautiful perspective and bringing your gorgeous heart to us today. We love you. And all you ladies at home, thank you so much for joining us, for listening to us and our perspectives that we're bringing. And we're going to go ahead and end the show. I'm not going to end out with another song, but we thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.
Introducing the Liberty Laptop, your gateway to online anonymity. Engineered with your privacy in mind, the Liberty Laptop comes equipped with cutting-edge security features, ensuring that your data remains yours and yours alone. No more worries about your personal information being shared without consent. Say goodbye to prying eyes and third-party snoops. Enjoy your online freedom with advanced privacy settings, protecting your every digital move, all at your fingertips. With the Liberty Laptop, you control what others see and don't see. We customize your privacy settings and let only what matters most to you be shared. No more concerns about unwarranted surveillance. We put the power back in your hands. No unwanted access through the laptop's camera and microphone. Powered by the latest technology, the Liberty Laptop ensures performance while respecting your personal boundaries. The Liberty Laptop. Your control. Your privacy. Your world. Visit calixsolutions.io to experience true personal freedom today.